LeBron, Kobe, Steph. Since 2001 to our current year, the NBA has had some of the most unbelievable talent. High IQ playmakers, unbelievable shot makers, high-flying dunkers. The fans around the world have grown to love specific players and have become very opinionated about who's the best. Recently, a panel of ESPN experts gathered together. They voted and ranked who they believe the best 25 NBA players are of the 21st century, which begins, obviously, in 2001. This list caused a huge debate about players who didn't make the list and players who are ranked higher on the list than other players. We're going to go over all of it, and I'm sure you'll have a disagreement along the way. But before we get into it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching one of the best new basketball channels on YouTube, Swish Archives. Debates about NBA topics have been around since the beginning of the sport. You can debate countless amounts of different things within the sport, but when it comes to ranking NBA players, a lot of questions come up, such as, what do we use to determine if a player's better than another player? Do we count rings, stats, and other awards? The conversation can get pretty confusing at times, so when ESPN released their top 25 players of the 21st century, many fans were left wondering why certain players didn't make the list and why certain players are ranked where they are. The top 5 players on the list probably won't surprise you. Ranked at number 1 is LeBron James, the 39-year-old veteran who's widely considered in the greatest of all time conversation with Jordan. With 4 rings and over 40,000 points, it's hard to deny his number 1 spot. Ranked at number 2 is Kobe Bryant, arguably the greatest Laker to grace the court. The 5-time NBA champion, 4-time MVP, and also considered in the greatest of all time conversation by many. Ranked at number 3 is Stephen Curry, the 4-time NBA champion, 2-time MVP, and who's considered the greatest shooter to ever play the game. Curry is also widely considered to be one of the best point guards, with the debate being between him and Magic Johnson. Ranked at number 4 is Tim Duncan, the 5-time NBA champion, 2-time MVP, and who is widely considered the best power forward to ever play the game. He dominated the paint by using fundamentals and never cared to be in the spotlight. Ranked at number 5 is Shaquille O'Neal, the 4-time NBA champion, 1-time MVP, and who's widely considered the most dominant big man to ever play the game. He forced teams to have 3 to 4 big men on the team just because of all the fouls they'd have to commit to try to stop him. Not to mention all the equipment changes the NBA had to undergo because of how strong he was. Yeah, we know, the ranking of the top 5 players might have already had some fans scratching their heads. We'll get into questions regarding player rankings shortly, but first, the rest of the top 25 list was Kevin Garnett, Nikola Jokic, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, Dirk Nowitzki, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steve Nash, James Harden, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, Ginobili, Allen Iverson, Anthony Davis, Ray Allen, Tony Parker, Draymond Green, Russell Westbrook, Pau Gasol, and Luka Doncic. Those are the 25 players that made the list of the best players of the 21st century. Like we said before, fans began to voice their disagreements when they noticed certain players were snubbed from the list. The most notable snub was Paul Pierce, the 1-time NBA champion, 10-time All-Star, and Finals MVP in the 2008 Celtics championship. Paul Pierce did not make the list, but his 2 teammates on his championship team did, KG and Ray Allen. While most will agree Luka is an amazing player, many thought it was wrong for ESPN to snub Pierce, while Luka made the list. One can't help but think that ESPN intentionally left him off the list due to the falling out they had in 2021. Pierce was fired from ESPN for violating a clause in his contract. To this day, Pierce is vocal about the incident, claiming he was planning on quitting anyways. Another player who was left off the team and is widely considered the best ball handler in the history of the game, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie won a ring in 2016 with LeBron in the legendary 3-1 finals comeback against the Warriors. He hit a clutch shot in Game 7 over Curry that was considered the dagger in the series. He's often considered the hardest player to guard because of his crafty ball handling skill and his ability to finish at the rim in any angle you can think of. He's a generational talent, and we may never see another player as skilled as him. One reason Kyrie might have been left off the list is because of his off-the-court antics. Kyrie has a history of being very outspoken, which caused him to lose his deal with Nike. Lastly, people felt Carmelo Anthony was snubbed from the list. Carmelo is often considered one of the best pure scorers the league has seen. In his prime, debates between him and Durant were often had on who was a better scorer. Unfortunately, Carmelo was unable to win a ring in his career. The award he'll be mainly remembered for is winning the gold medal with the 2008 Redeem Team, alongside LeBron and Kobe. But this is when the hard questions need to be asked. Is winning a championship or an MVP award necessary to be included on the list? The obvious answer to that question is no, because Luka has yet to win a ring or an MVP award. So if it were our decision, we'd put Pierce at the 25th spot instead of Luka. Now, like we mentioned earlier, another issue with the list is the order the players were ranked in. Let's start near the top of the list. Curry being ranked at the number 3 spot is obviously well-deserved. However, the question is, should Curry be ranked higher on the list than Tim Duncan, who's ranked number 4, and Shaq, who's ranked number 5? Well, let's take a look at this. Curry is undoubtedly the best shooter who's played in the NBA. He's one of the key reasons the game of basketball changed from players choosing to prioritize high percentage shots, such as points in the paint, to choosing to shoot more three-pointers instead. He's won 4 rings and 2 MVPs thus far in his career. He definitely deserves to be in the top 5 on the list. But some believe Curry doesn't deserve to be in front of Tim Duncan or Shaq. Let's talk about Tim Duncan first. Duncan was a 5-time champion and 2-time MVP. Duncan outclassed his opponents by using fundamentals and mastering them. As an older player, he was able to win his final ring when he beat the Heat in 2014 against prime LeBron and Wade. Duncan led the Spurs for 19 years. Charles Barkley weighed in on how great Tim Duncan was.
You better than Duncan?
No. Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward ever.
Now, let's switch the focus to Shaq, the most dominant big man to play the game. It can be very difficult to compare players who play different positions, but there are a few things we can mention, like how dominant Shaq was. If you follow the NBA, you know how opinionated Shaq is. He's had conversations with Curry's teammate Draymond Green about who would win in a series between his championship Laker team and the Warriors championship team.
Shaq's Lakers against your Golden State Warriors. Please don't say Andrew Bogut.
So here's the thing.
And you can be honest, you ain't gonna hurt my feelings.
I don't think any one player on our team could have guarded you.
During the conversation, a difficult question was asked. Who's going to guard Shaq from any of the Warrior championship teams? But this isn't meant as disrespect to the Warriors, but it's the reality every team faced in his prime. No one could guard Shaq. In the way that Curry changed the dynamics of which shot selections players take, Shaq changed the game by forcing teams to have several big men on the roster prepared to foul him. Former player Richard Jefferson spoke about the matter.
With the Shaq shit, there was no fucking guarding him. And Draymond, you're my boy. He changed the fucking equipment. Backboards were getting broken. I think there's lots of players that changed the game, including Shaquille O'Neal. They literally had to change the physical equipment.
What do you think? Do you think Curry should be ranked before Shaq and Duncan? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't noticed by now, Kevin Durant was ranked at number 9 on the list, right behind Dwayne Wade. Many felt Kevin Durant should have a better ranking due to his unbelievable scoring talent. This goes back to recent comments Durant made when asking why he isn't considered in the greatest of all time conversation. Durant has had a controversial career that mainly stemmed from when he lost to the Warriors in the playoffs in 2016 in a series that went to Game 7. The next season, Durant joined the Warriors, who were already considered to be the best team in the league. Many fans were upset because OKC was a great young team that had potential to win a championship. So when Durant left to the Warriors, they saw it as him taking the easy road to win a championship. While on the Warriors, Durant won 2 rings and hasn't been able to win one since. While I do believe Durant should be ranked better on that list, it's also understandable why many think his legacy isn't as great as it should be. Regardless, the reason the NBA is so special is because of how competitive it is. It allows people that love the game to come together and share their opinions and have interesting debates. Do you agree with ESPN's top 25 list? Is there anyone you think should be on that list that isn't? Is there a player you think has an incorrect ranking? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.